Welcome back, you guys. I received 6 dividend payments in the month of September, so we're going to take a look at what companies paid me, how much they paid me, and what I'm expecting to receive in the month of October. So let's jump straight into it. First dividend that I received was from Pfizer, and that was for $8.82. Year to date, Pfizer is basically trading even, but if we look out to the 365 days, we'll see that it's down almost 13%, which is putting it really on sale from where I think that it can go back to, especially if we look at the 5 year and see that it was trading at almost $60 just a few years ago. And then if we look at the dividends, they've had some pretty impressive dividend history. They've been increasing their dividend for the last 13 years, and over the last 5 years, they've been increasing their dividend on an average of 4.26% a year, and their dividend yield is sitting at 5.81%, which is quite impressive. The next small payment that I received is going to come from Walmart, and that's going to be 64 cents, bringing my total to $9.46. If we take a look at Walmart's overall performance over the last 365 days, we see some really impressive gains at 51.47%. And just in the last year, they're up 53.66%. And in the last 5 years, they're up over 100%, which is just fantastic. And then looking at their dividend statistics, they do only pay a 1.03% dividend, but they have been steadily increasing that dividend for over 40 years. And they're increasing it at a rate about 3.27% on average over the last 5 years, and a very impressive 9% year over year growth from last year to this year. The third dividend payment that I received this month was $2.05 from ExxonMobil, bringing my total to $11.51. By looking at some of the dividend statistics. So it has a dividend yield of 3.24%, and it's been growing its dividend for the last 23 years, and they've been paying dividends consistently for the last 26. Now, they have been increasing their dividend on average by 2.07% over the last 5 years, which isn't significant when you compare it to some other companies that are seeing double digit growth, but they also have had some pretty decent returns over the last few months. So year to date, they're up 17.24%, but unfortunately, in the last 365 days, they've been trading basically flat. The next payment that I received is none other than Realty Income for $7, bringing the grand total to $18.51. Realty Income is every dividend investor's favorite monthly paying stock, and it's currently trading at about $63.42. And over the last year, it's up almost 27%. And year to date, it's up 10.45%. And one of my favorite things is the pretty high dividend yield, sitting at 4.99%. And it also has a very solid dividend growth streak of 27 years. And over the last 5 years, it's been increasing its dividend on average of 3.54%. And in the last 3 years, that's up to even 4.15%, which is just fantastic. The next dividend payment that I received comes from an ETF that's actually relatively new to the portfolio. SPLG paid me $2.16, bringing the grand total to $20.67. SPLG is an S&P 500 ETF, so therefore it's going to be tracking the S&P 500. So year to date, it is up just over 20%, and over the last 365 days is up 34.32%. But what's really impressive about this is that it has a very low expense ratio of 0.02%. And then dividend-wise, they have been increasing the dividend yield on this for the last 3 years, just because it is relatively new. And then in the last 5 years, they've been increasing their dividend by 4.78%. The final dividend payment that I received is going to come from SCHD at $7.94, bringing the grand total for the entire month to $28.61. If you are a dividend investor, you have without a doubt heard of SCHD. They have the most impressive growth over the last 5 years at 11.29%. They've been increasing their dividends year over year for the last 12 years. They've also had some pretty sizable growth. So in the last year, they're up almost 20%, as you can see right here. And then over like the last year, they're up 11%. And in the last 5 years, they're up 55%, which is about 11% per year, which is really impressive. And I'm sure you are all aware that they are doing a 1-to-3 split. So for every one share of SCHD that you own now, as of October 10th or October 11th, you will have 3 times as many shares. So keep an eye out for that. All right, so we're over here on Snowball Analytics, and we're going to take a look at the income that I'm expecting for the month of October. And as you can see right here, in the next 12 months, I'm expected to make about $920, which is $2.52 a day. And my goal is to get that up to $3 by the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. So as you can see, I'm going to be expecting about six dividend payments. The Whitestone REIT right here, I have about a tenth of a share from holding on to shares past the ex-dividend date, and I'm unable to sell those shares. But the first payment that I should be receiving is going to be on the first of the month from Coca-Cola. That's going to be $1.61. That's because I own about 3.3 shares. Then the next payment I'm expecting to receive is $63.72 from VOO, one of the most popular ETFs that mimics the S&P 500, and I own just about 39 shares of that. And I'm sure once those dividends reinvest, I will be right at 39 shares, and the dividend yield is only at 1.28%. And then the last payment I'll receive on the first of the month is going to be from VTI, Vanguard's total stock market index, with a yield of 1.32%, giving me $5.36. Then on the 10th, I should be receiving two more payments, one from Altria Group, which pays out quarterly, and it pays $1.02 per share before tax, which is about an 8% yield, and that will give me $17.81. And then my largest position that pays me dividends is going to be from UWMC, and that's 10 cents a share times my 781 shares, which is $78.17. And fun fact about this, I actually just sold 100 shares of this today, and I rolled that over into SCHD just because I don't think that this stock is going to continue to have the momentum it's had over the past few months, and I'd rather have something that's a little bit more consistent and less volatile. And finally, the last payment that I'm expecting to receive in the month of October is going to be none other than Realty Income, one of my favorite companies that pays out dividends, especially because they pay it out monthly and they do have that nice 5% yield. And that's going to be $7.57, which is 26.35 cents per share. And then you can see the grand total up here is $174.24. And if you like this platform, definitely go check out my bio. There is a link to Snowball Analytics. They have all the bells and whistles, and it's definitely leveled up my game when it comes to picking out stocks that I want to put my money in for investing and then keeping track of when I'll receive my dividend payments, because it does show you your dividend calendar for the rest of the year. And so you can see December will be another good month for me, but it does track everything from yield on cost to overall gains, including dividends. So definitely go ahead and check that out. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are doing a challenge where we invest $3 per new subscriber that we gain, and that gets put into a separate account where I will just kind of try to showcase that being consistent and investing little by little will grow into a very sizable amount of money. So definitely smash the subscribe button. And if you want to see what I think is the best 3 ETF portfolio, go ahead and check out this video here.